Hi, you guys. Welcome to week 6 of the course. Kathy says I have to keep doing these videos, so unfortunately, I'm back. I also heard from some of you guys like that the last few weeks you haven't had pictures in your course. I had no idea because I did have pictures in my versions of the course, but apparently some of you, maybe even the majority of you, the pictures didn't show up or weren't showing up. I go through the week or the lessons every week, and everything will work or should work because it works on my computers. So I had pictures, but apparently some of you guys didn't. So anyway, I consulted with Lori Morrow, our CLEAR instructional assistant for anthropology, and Lori says, actually she didn't tell me what was wrong, but she just sent me an email an hour ago saying, should be fixed now. So hey, if something like that doesn't work in the future, let me know, alright? It should work. Let's see, I have read most of your abstracts from last week. I confess not all as yet. The biggest thing to take out of both of those articles is the definition, or are the definitions. The biggest things to take are the definitions. I want you guys need to be able to use concepts like micro-macro interaction or transnationalism, particularly transnationalism, structural historical processes, world systems theory. You need to know what those mean, all right, and be able to use them and write about them intelligently in essays, all right? Yeah, that's important. So yes, if you're not clear about those, make sure you get clear. You can email me, we'll talk about it, call me, whatever, right? Or, you can also do research on your own. If I could say one thing about some of your all's abstracts, it's that some of you guys, not that they were too short, but some of them were a little short. It's that some of you glossed over important information, right? Try to make your abstracts really packed or dense with information. Packed or dense with information. You want something that you can pull these out in 3 years down the road, and you read it and then you remember exactly what it says. Not just that Britell talked about something or Zolberg talked about something, right? But actually summarize what they said. But summarize it really tightly and make your abstracts pregnant with information. How about that? All right. The Zolberg article is a bit dry, and it has fewer sort of real-world examples like the Britell reading. Yeah, he's writing from political science. He himself is really well known, or has been well known for. He's like one of the classics in forced migration theory, looking again at sort of the role of the state in these big macro level processes. I assigned him because he is good about talking. He's a political scientist, and so he's good about talking about the role of the state and politics and policy, which I think the Britell reading doesn't really focus on as much, at least. So, yeah, I mean, the Britell article, what it does do, and does do well, is to look at anthropology's contribution, which in some ways faults people like Zolberg for only talking about the macro processes or the macro level. Whereas anthropology's contribution is to really emphasize how individuals, which is the micro level, individuals really interact with all of this, right? We're not just these pawns of the world systems, right? Help the world systems! Unsurprisingly, there are a lot of parallels between how Britell presents this stuff and the Mahler reading. I mean, so if you want a classic example of how what Britell is saying gets operationalized, look at the Mahler reading, because I mean it's really, really well done, looking at how individuals are working within these bigger processes. I think only one of you, maybe Teddy, good job for picking up on that. Shareda, good job for bringing in South Africa. Always good to bring in African examples. If the Zolberg article was hard or boring for some of you, look at Kathy's abstracts. Kathy's and Donna's and Jill's. And there's probably others that were really good, but those three, Kathy, Donna, Jill, come to mind right now, or came to mind when I was writing my notes for this. Yeah, those are good. The next coming couple of weeks, Alicia has you guys focusing on Latin America. For this week, I tried to complement her lesson by adding a page of YouTube video documentaries. They're not really documentaries, they're like 4-minute shorts, YouTube shorts. I tried to emphasize how migration from Latin America, by the 3 that I picked, I tried to emphasize how migration from Latin America to the US really dovetails with discussions about race and purity and the state and the role of the state in enforcing this. I think Greg, I was going the same place as you in your analysis section of Zolberg. I think it was your Zolberg analysis, I think. One of the videos I'll introduce, it's from a Woody Guthrie song from back in the 1940s. You guys might know Woody Guthrie from, he's like one of the classic American folk singers, 30s, 40s, and 50s. This land is your land, this land is my land, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sometimes an agitator, sometimes labeled a communist by the establishment. Anyway, so apparently in the 1940s, true story, there was a plane crash that had farm workers from Mexico who had been brought up to this country to work on our farms, even back in the 1940s, deporting them back to Mexico, and then the plane crashes. And so Woody Guthrie is watching the news stories about this and gets upset because he realizes that nobody is referring to any of the people on the plane by their names. They're all just called deportees. So anyway, so he wrote this song. This is actually Arlo Guthrie singing it. Arlo Guthrie is Woody Guthrie's son, so it's kind of cool. He's singing his dad's song. It's fantastic. It's really good. If anybody wants to go over how to use words like concepts, words or concepts like micro, macro, world systems theory, transnationalism, again, they are important, all right? Can't emphasize that enough, so do let me know, all right? Hope you guys have a good week. Talk to you later. Bye.